Hey, beautiful shining stars. Sorry that I posted very late. So the energy that we're working on with today is dear friend. So the whole thing is that you want to create a very kind of how do I explain it? Uh, Casual relationship with your angels, like they're your friends, like that type of relationship. So as you move along in your own work, because we're coming to the closing of this class, which again, you could come back, revisit, redo, work upon the exercises that you feel you need more help with. The whole point of connecting with your angels is creating a very casual approach, like they're your friends. And I know that sometimes when you are very ego energy, and what's ego energy? People, humans that live in a very 3D, what's in front of me, what I see type vibration. If you are the type that in order for you to believe, you have to see, if you need proof, you need confirmations constantly, you need someone to always be kind of like giving you constant, inspiration or that neediness energy. That's a very ego type energy. So it's harder when we are in that vibration. When we're in a more flow, kind of like I speak to my angels. Example, last night I asked them a question and I vaguely remember the dream. And I'm like, damn it, because I did. Usually, when I ask them for messages and insights through my dreams, are very good at giving me lucid dreams, and I'm very and easily able to decipher what I am seeing. I'm going to give you a perfect example. I don't know if I talked to you about this. I had a very radical dream a couple nights ago. I think it's super crazy. So last week, Spirit says, Daisy, you need to do a lot. You need to sit down and do a lot of the course modules. I didn't know that it was going to be as crazy as it got. This last, especially like 3 days ago, it was really crazy because, like I said, I now have my mother-in-law living with me, so there's a lot of changes. I'm revamping the whole house. So if you are in my Patreon, you will soon get behind the scenes clips of my new area, especially that I'm doing a lot more TikTok for my crafty witchy stuff and my journals and all that. And there's just so much that I'm working on that I'm super excited about. And I will be more live on my crafty channels and stuff like that. My Patreon. So now that she's here, it's a lot harder because she has severe dementia. They said it was light. There's nothing light about the dementia. She went at me with a cane. There's nothing light about dementia. That she's like full blown coming at me. So I would have not been able to do any of the work. You guys would have not have classes. So Spirit beforehand said, Daisy, let's do this. And of course, like I just shared in my Patreon, what I do is that usually I do this on Sunday. So it's like Saturday, Sunday. Sunday's a day that I usually don't talk to any clients. I just kind of focus on things that I have to catch up, orders that maybe came in through the week that maybe I wasn't able to finish or whatnot. So Sunday's a day that I don't really talk to clients, but just focus on me, on a lot of meditation, and doing the little things that I need to do. So when Spirit said, do this, do this, do this, I was like, okay. And I sat down. I have everything, of course, because I know every class Spirit shares with me usually a few days in advance. Sometimes it's spontaneous. Sometimes Spirit will be like, as I'm creating, like, Spirit, what are we doing today? And they're like, they'll send me a topic. They'll send me, So it's like you just, with Spirit, you never know, like, what we're going to share. So I went through it really, really hard. I called everybody. I was like, I'm not going to be able to do this. I'm not going to be able to have her. As much as it breaks my heart, we're going to have to just put her in a home and that's it, which I know is going to be worse because it's people that she doesn't know and whatever. And a lot of times when people, when they get in that matter, they don't know anybody, they pass away a lot, but I'm only responsible for myself. If I do for somebody else because I want to. So and when we're the type of person that we're earthly angels and we do a lot of giving, it's a lot harder. It's a lot harder. That's why I'm constantly reminding myself about responsibility for myself, taking care of myself, nurturing myself. So she did not sleep for 3 days. She woke up one morning at 7 a.m. and it was 8 p.m. the following day. So 7 a.m. all day, all night. The following day, she finally oh, so no, this is what happened. So she came at me with a cane, so I went to call the ambulance to kind of help her through this. So somebody came over and they talked to her, and we found out that she wasn't taking her meds. She was hiding them under her couch. So that night I said to Spirit, you have to help me. You have to show me. Oh, I had a nervous breakdown. My blood pressure went up to almost to 200. I suffer from high blood pressure. It's usually like 80s, 90s, over like 140s, 150s. Sometimes it'll go up to like 160 when it's high. Never as bad as almost 200. 109, almost 200, like 190 something. I thought I was gonna have a stroke. It was bad. And that's when I was like, I can't do this. And my husband's like, he can't do this. It was just crazy. So if I wouldn't have listened to Spirit and done all the classes during that madness, I couldn't do classes. I couldn't even think. I was like, I had lost full control of everything. So that night I went to bed and I asked Spirit, help me. We finally, help came over. They told me how to give her medicine, because it's like nobody prepares you for this stuff. Like I said, I had my great aunt, but she was never like this. She was very go with the flow. Even when she would get a little bit like, oh no, I'm not gonna do this, it was just like I would like joke with her and do stuff, and she'd be like, okay, you know. This lady is very stubborn, very like, it's not easy. So long story short, we found out how to give her the meds, which is hard, but we're doing it. And she slept finally, and we slept too. And when I slept, Spirit gave me a dream. And in the dream, I don't know, I can't remember the exacts of the dream. I was a random lady, young American style lady with like white hair or blondish light white hair. And all I remember, she cut my finger. She literally cut my finger. She took my finger off, and I'm freaking out because I lost my finger. And I'm trying to grab it, and then somebody else is like, give it to me. We're going to put it in something so you can attach it again. And I'm screaming. There was no blood. It was just no finger, right? Strangest dream ever. So the next morning, I don't remember a lot of everything, but I do remember the finger thing. So my daughter searches, okay, what does that mean? Which is what I told you. You gotta Google search, go to dream interpretations. And she's like, Mom, you're gonna freak out. It means that you've lost control. It means that you need to take your power back. It means that you need to make changes. So it's like everything that I was going through, because what happened was when she got in my face and started bitching at me and did all that, it took me back to when I was in my teens and 20s, which is what she used to do. So she took me way back there where I was defenseless and young and gullible and naive and no defense, right? Yeah, Mommy, come in. Sorry, my daughter came in. So long story short, that put this energy into me, like, this is my home. This is my house. This is my sacred space, and I'm not going to allow this. So that very next day, I put on all my Hebrew, all the divine names of God. I did not let her watch the news, because the thing is that she was watching a lot of news. She was talking to her son who's schizophrenic and has autism, and he's very like verbal and abusive, and all of that energy that she was getting and putting in my home caused a lot of chaos. I don't put news in my home. You're never going to hear the news in my house. So I said, no, this is my home. I'm not going to do that. So she was still like in off, and she's like, oh, I want to hear the news. And I was like, no, it's not working today. And I know I'm lying. Sue me. I said, but look at this. And then I started putting like, my classical, the autumn. And then she started falling asleep, because like I said, she didn't sleep for 3 days. And then I started doing the Hebrew energies, the Hebrew divine names, and just cleansing, clearing, sage the shit out of my house. And then my husband is on medical leave because he's still not okay. So he's like been like super helping, like we're like revamping the walls, revamping everything. And I'm sharing all of this with you is because spirit, when your angels come and work with you, they work mysteriously and especially to get you the information that you needed to get. What, before the whole dream, before all of this happened, my cousin calls me, and my cousin's like very spiritual, and he calls me through his divine form, which sometimes he doesn't even remember calling you because his divine form comes in and she'll start making phone calls and talking to people and expressing, like, and she tells me this is going to happen and that's going to happen, and you need to don't lose control, and you need to create a sacred space where you could go to and do your meditation, because my sacred space used to be in the living room area, but she took over everything. So I had to revamp everything. I had to get rid of all the altars and restart fresh and sage and clear. And so I'm behind because I have new rituals that I want to do, right? That I have to do, but that I can't do because I'm not going to start new rituals. I'm not going to keep on my altar. So I had to bring all of that and then clear the altars and do energy work for my clients so they could continue that altar work that they're paying for and get rid of everything. Just completely get rid of everything, because I have like a very sacred space that I create that when you walk in, it's like almost like a vortex type energy. So even if things are going on with my clients, it doesn't come into my house. And if things are going on in my house, it doesn't go into my clients. So it's like a very type, it's hard to explain. You would have to, it's such a crazy thing that sometimes when you walk into the vortex, you could feel the shifts in energy. It was really, really, really crazy. So yeah, so my husband, beautiful as he is, he completely revamped a whole area, completely closed it off. Now, because before it's just me and my kids and him, right? So we, witchy daisy, 101. But she's like a busybody. She started going into all my little rainbow drawers and taking stuff. And the worst thing that she did, my husband has a collectible side business, and the whole thing is like everything has to be pristine. And she literally started grabbing all of his cards that he had on eBay selling, and she started stuffing them in her purse and saying that those were hers. I mean, it was just like, oh my God, I didn't know she was this bad. How did this happen? So sometimes you're going to go through obstacles in life, and this is the reason why today's energy is dear friend, because sometimes we need a dear friend when we have those moments. And it was really bad. My kids freaked out because I said, like, Mom, I've never seen you shaking. I've never seen you afraid. I'm like, I'm afraid of the devil, but I'm afraid of my mother-in-law. Explain that to me. And it was because she took me, that energy, when she got in my face and she started bitching on me and she started calling me all these kinds of ugly names, which is what she used to do when I was young, and she wouldn't have her way and she wanted me to do whatever she wanted me to do because she's a very dominant person. I never have gotten along with this lady, never. She's here in my house. So experiences for us to learn, grow, expand. It could be karmic balances. Maybe she was someone in another lifetime, vice versa. So we need to clear karmic. So it's like sending her love and healing and forgiveness, but also finding a way of putting myself first, nurturing myself, taking care of myself, doing the things that I have to do. So this is where the dear friends come in. And this is like, I feel this is very powerful, because as you're working on your life book, and I'm behind because the 3 days, I started on day 1. And guess what? I couldn't go to my story day 2. I couldn't go to my story day 3. I had to start all over. And and then I'm working on the language of money. And it was a time that I'm working with the ethereal energy. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm telling this energy, we're going to have to start, because the whole point is 100 days to the goal that I'm trying to meet wealth-wise. And it's like, all right, let's start all over, because that got fucked up. And it's like I said, it's having the patience, understanding, willingness to accept what you cannot change, because there's certain, that's why I say we co-create. because you have people around you all the time that are creating as well. So you're co-creating, right? So you're trying to, not to mention that you're also working with divine energy. So you want to co-create with the divine. You do not want to let other people co-create in your life. What you need to do with them is block them. You know, with her, I created in my altar like a tranquility space. I do, which I'm doing for one of you clients. So I have this ritual, and I'm doing a lot of this now, which are audio rituals that you will be soon be able to purchase in my Etsy shops. So one of them is clearing the chaos. So clearing the chaos is really, really powerful when you have chaos. So it's a divine Hebrew name, and let me see if I find, do I have this here, and I'll share with you, because the beautiful client that I did this for this week got some shifts and changes, and she's like, whoa, this is pretty cool. All right, I don't have it right in front of me. Oh, I do. Let's see if I could find it here, and I'm gonna show you what I do. It's called Farewell to Arms. I think this is one of them. I've used numerous ones. So it says solutions for peace are never political, philosophical, or materialistic. Violence, even when justified, is merely fighting darkness with more darkness. Solutions must be founded upon spiritual light in the human soul. It's called Farewell to Arms, and is Membet Hey, Membet Hey. So I sing that energy, and I look upon the letters. If you guys were on my wealth class, you saw that we did the divine name of prosperity. So I have this, I had a whole ritual that I created the divine name, how to meditate with the letters, and how to focus this energy on what you're trying to do. So what I do is I'll use this vibration and I'll focus it on, per se, the client, or in my case, my home. And of course, when I'm doing that, I'm also emanating the energy through my altars to clear any and all chaos in everyone's life, because we come across chaos all the time at work, at home, on the streets. There's chaos everywhere. So this helps to clear that energy. So because if you are fighting, it's what it says, you're fighting darkness with darkness. There's no compromise, there's no solution. So something that I notice that me and my husband do is if I'm in that darkness energy because I'm overwhelmed and I can't handle it, he'll come in and try to like lift me up, and vice versa. When he's in that energy, I'll go in and lift him up. So that is that compromising energy, that give and receive type energy. It doesn't happen overnight, and there's a lot of relationships, like for example in my mom and dad's relationship, my mom is always the victim and my dad is always the savior. When I was little, I was always also doing the same thing. I was feeding to my mom's victim needy energy. Which I feel has a lot to do with who I am today, and why I do what I do. So it's quite beautiful when you're able to clear that chaos, and seeing like today's the first day that she's been a little edgy, but my husband and I have like researched a lot on dementia and what triggers them and how to like disarm them. And again, when I feel that she's, I start stating the name, and I'll look at her and I'm like seeing the name on top of her and just emanating all the energy to kind of disarm her, and she'll usually come off of it. And again, I have her on my altar, a lot of serenity and tranquility. So these are like beautiful ways and things that you could do instead of like banishing spells, or ways for you to kind of come to a sacred space and a relaxed state to clear negative energies. And in today's vibration, when you're talking to the angels over whatever, because it doesn't have to be anything negative, but let's say that you're trying to figure something out. Like for me right now, I have the work that I have to do, but this class is coming to its close. My money class doesn't start till December 31st. We have October and November. It doesn't come till the end of December. So that's like a 3-month period. So I'm like, Spirit, okay, so what am I doing? Because if I'm not doing any classes for that time frame, and they're like, we got you. So I feel like they're also like making room for all the new things that I'm trying to co-create and trying to add. And on a positive note, there's going to be a lot more rituals in my shop. Um, I guess Spirit is kind of compensating for, you know, until I get to the classes, because once I get into the classes, I won't be able to do a lot of rituals, right? But I find that what they're sharing with me, um, with the language of money class, is that that class is going to be all up. It's not like the I usually do them per day. I feel like it's a class that's gonna be, yes, it starts on December 31st. That's the not that's when it goes live. That's when you'll be able to start getting in the class. But it's not scheduled, you know. All the modules will be up. I don't know how many modules, because like I said, it, you know, you notice that these my classes, I mean, the one that we did, the wealth class, I think it was what, 40 days, 41 days, 21 days, I don't even know. So you notice that I do a lot of like daily activities and interactions to get you all to kind of evolve in your manifesting. And here in creating your life book, I do not want you to lapse in it. I don't want you just to do this and not do it. I want you to come back and repeat it. I want you to expand and learn, because as you connect with your angelic team, you are going to expand and grow, and just everything that'll be shared with you. And just like my cousin called me through his spiritual guide and shared with me what was coming. I mean, even with her sharing me, I definitely was not prepared for what happened to me. Even though I had that dream about the loss of a finger, which explains about regaining your power, what that did to me was give me my off, because I'm the type of person that I will fall down, I will collapse, I will hit the fucking floor face on and cry and melt and just be a hot mess, right? But doesn't last. It usually lasts a day. I think the worst was before I started wearing crystals, which today I'm not wearing crystals. And I would do my energy work, so I had no protection. And then if I would go into a home that had a lot of, you know, negative remnants of energies, that would sabotage my energy to such a point that I would have to stay in bed for a couple of days just to regain my energy. My body would be like really exhausted. So it wasn't like, you know, victim energy. It was more like I need to repower, regenerate, right? So usually, like I said, when I fall down, like that was really bad. My kids really freaked out. Like everybody freaked out. We're like, no, we're putting her in a home because she's gonna kill mom. Like that was a big thing. And I was like, wait, let's reassess. You know, we were able to reassess. We were able to see things, you know. And right now we're just going with the flow, because we don't know what tomorrow would do. I feel like with situations like this, you have to take it one day at a time, because you don't know how long this is gonna last. You don't know if it's gonna escalate. You don't know if maybe she'll find her peace and kind of like, you know, because like I said, she was quiet for 2 days because of the medicine that was given to her. Today she's finally up and about again, and she was a little busy because her whole thing is, and you notice with elderly, is that if they have big changes, once they're already in that state of Alzheimer's, dementia, it's really hard for them. So her thing was, she was holding her purse, and I need to go home, I need to go home. So you kind of feel bad, because it's almost like she's lost. The thing that I can't handle is because, like, me and her, we don't click because of all the past that we have. And she's also very dominant. You know, she's got that really dominant energy. And I don't do well with confrontation. I mean, don't get me wrong. If I have to punch a bitch, I'll punch a bitch. But that's not the case. You know what I'm saying? It's not like someone that's coming at me. It's someone that doesn't know. You know, it's that type of energy. So when I sit down and talk to my angels, I share everything. I share the energies that came up, the memories that came up, the trauma that came up. And then I ask, well, how do I fix this? How do I make this better? How do I work around this? And it's really cool, because it's what happens is, it's not just you. Like, a lot of you think, oh, Spirit's going to show me and everything's going to happen to me. And that's not how the angels work. And this is why they're so awesome. And now something I'm going to share with you that's really going to blow you away. They're not only going to just work with you, they're going to work with the people around you. Like, for instance, my husband, my daughter had said, let's put her in a certain part of the house so we don't lose like control of like our living room area. So my husband's like, no, we're gonna keep her in the living room, because we didn't know that she was in the situation that she's at, in the state of mind that she's at. So what happened was that My husband revamped everything and is creating her like a little secret space that we're going to close off for her. And he then shifted and got the idea of how he was going to prepare like my section and how I'm going to work in that section and everything. So it's kind of really cool how the angels work with the people around you. So they're taking care of your needs by giving ideas to your friends and family, sometimes your bosses. You know, how many times have I talked to clients who are like, oh my God, I got a promotion. I don't know how it happened. I got a bonus. I don't know how it happened. And these are your angels working on your behalf through the people around you. So it's really, really cool when those things work. So today, when you sit and you talk to your angels, I want you to be open to receiving, not just from you, but from your circle, you know, per se, that you are trying to work something out with your beloved, you know. Um, like I have a client that for 2 years she wanted to get married, and she really, really wanted to get married. And, you know, we were doing rituals to help him, just move him along and get him to you know, to propose. And then he proposed, and then it wasn't working out. And I kept seeing, and usually clients don't like to hear, this is not going to work out. Are you sure you want to do this? This person doesn't look like he wants to change. But when people are very adamant that this is the one, this is who I have, this is my soulmate, they don't want to hear anything else, right? So at the end, you know, I wasn't giving her the answers that she wanted. So we didn't work together for about 6 months. And 6 months later, she messages me. She's no longer with that person. And she's ready to move on. And she's, you know, super happy. She went through a lot of healing. And her angels started to help her. So the cool thing is that sometimes the rituals, I always do this with every ritual. I always add healing and for you to find the very best possible outcome. So even if we start the ritual per se for you to be with a specific person or to manifest a specific outcome, I always add or better or more, especially healing. Because when we can't see what is happening behind the scenes or what is coming that's going to be better for us, it's really hard to decipher. And especially when it comes to matters of the heart where we're like all in, you know, and not knowing that there might be someone that's even better than the ex, and you don't want to see it because, oh my God, that's all I want is the ex, right? And this happens all the time. So fast forward almost a year, she's now with someone, and she tells me, oh my God, Daisy, can you imagine if I would have married so and so? I would have been miserable. And then she goes back and thinks about all of this, you know, all of the damage that he caused, everything that he did to her. And, you know, she's like working through that, like doing her own like shadow work to help her get through that. So it's like you have to connect with the angelic team to help you with what's in front of you now, because you don't see what's behind the scenes. You don't see what tomorrow brings, even as a psychic. You know, like with a lot of intuition and a lot of stuff that I share with you all the time. I didn't see. Was I being warned? I was. And you could rewind that I shared through a lot of the classes and the shadow work that she kept coming up. And I wasn't really understanding that I was being prepared for this. You know, that they were trying to put me in a way of forgiveness and healing. So when, you know, she came through, it wasn't as hard, which regardless was hard. But anyway, nonetheless, they have been working with me, and they have been working with me for months. I feel like even way back in January of this year, they've been working with me. So everything in life we're always on our path. We tend to veer to the right and to the left, but we're always on our path. We're always on our journey. Sometimes we take shortcuts, which is great. And sometimes we take the long roads, which are hard and bumpy because of our choices. But no matter what, you are on your path, and you're going through experiences so you could expand. And creating this life book is for you to have a say in what you want to witness, what you want to manifest, what you want to realize. And you should be getting confirmations, like I said, through dreams, through your friends, through books, People should be co-creating around you, you know, and that's the beauty of this. But you have to pay attention to those little things, because with me, like, I see everything, because Spirit's like, hey, you know, if this wouldn't have happened, you wouldn't have redone your area, and that wouldn't have happened, and you would have the room that you need, that you now have to do the rituals or to do your lives. So everything kind of works for you. You just have to be open and shut ego out. You know, instead of allowing ego to control you, you control ego, because ego is not always bad. Okay, ego sometimes is there to remind you of the things that you don't want, of the things that no longer fit in your life, that you need to release and let go. And that's why in this class there's a lot of that release, let go, and blocking. And I felt because a lot of you guys needed it a lot. God knows I needed it a lot. We've had major meltdowns, right? But nonetheless, at the end, we go back into our life book and we look at the things that we desire, that we want, and we want to co-create. And you know, my spiritual team has said they want me to buy outfits every week, and or at least a few every month. Do that. Do my nails, do that. Like, because if I want to be in, like, the email that Sarah Jordan says, and I know I repeat it all the time, and the reason for that is because when you get a reading, you might not see everything until the time flies. It might take weeks, it might take months for you to realize a lot of the things in the reading. And it's really, really cool to always keep and print out those readings so you could understand what Spirit is sharing with you, because maybe at the moment that they first shared it with you, it hasn't quite occurred. Like I express, it's okay, man. I'll pause it. So doing the stories, and I'm gonna actually sit down now and read your notes and see what you guys went through, because that's kind of like how sometimes Spirit shows me what's next. And we have a few more days, but it's okay, because it's quite amazing to be able to see how far you've come. And this will probably change, because you know, this is scheduled. So once it goes into modules, it's kind of like different, you know, it doesn't have by the day. It's almost like you could jump modules, you know, you'll be able to see which ones you want to repeat and whatever. And not only that, I'm still working on the madness of my webpage, that I lost all the information, so I'm still revamping that. So little by little, we'll get through this. But sit with your friend today, you know, make yourself a cup of coffee and sit down and have those conversations. You know, like I said, I talk to my angelic team just like I'm sitting here talking to you. We have conversations, and they share with me insights, sometimes right there and then, because it comes through thoughts. You know, that's why I say prepare with breaths. The best ways are meditation, because as you're meditating, their energy is coming in because you're inviting them. You're also in a very serene state, so they come in really strongly through those energies and vibrations. So yeah, just kind of go with the flow. And today, you know, write a letter to a dear friend, you know, asking them for solutions for different areas of your life. Or maybe if you're doing wonderful, then state gratitude. You know, hey, dear friend, thank you. You know, you already have your angel's names. You could write to the specific angel. I have multiple angels. You know, I sometimes work with, you see me, Raziel, Gabriel. I work a lot with Michael. So just see, sometimes, you know, angels that I don't even know their names show up. You know, and sometimes they give you the names and sometimes they don't, and that's okay. It's not about you acknowledging the name, just the presence and what they're trying to share with you, so you could decipher and evolve, because that's what we're here to do. We're here to evolve in this plane. We're here to kind of shift and live our very best life. And you know, this is what is so cool, the what they're sharing with me, and I'm able to share with you guys, because I've evolved so much in my life, and it's taken me a while to get, you know, to certain places. And sometimes you feel like, oh, I'm too old for this, or I wish this would have happened sooner. But I also feel that everything happens because it's meant to happen at the time that it's meant to happen. And just like you might take a class or a course and you might not grasp it until maybe years later. Like I said, when the divine names came to me, it was like 2010, or it might be earlier than that. And at that moment, I wasn't ready to hear them. They presented themselves to me. They said, hey, here I am, let's work together. And I was like, okay. So it didn't happen until 2020, that they really said, okay, are you ready? Here we go. So, and with that magic, I've not only created magic in my life, but I continue to create magic for my clients. So it's really cool. So like I said, you just never know where it's gonna lead. But start where you are, and allow and flow and continue. Yes, these experiences are gonna knock us down and make us cry, and they're gonna fucking hurt. But also the evolving, the growing, the good days, they'll come. All storms have to come to their close, and their sun always has to come out. Namaste.